Cześć pokututa, please Takrenko. Jak Oscar.
I love you.
It's comparison time once again, and I'm excited for this one. I've been comparing Marvel Legends to Mafex's previously on my channel. This one is a lot closer with these two. It's the SH Figuarts Deadpool versus the Marvel Legends Deadpool, both of them based on the movie versions. Now, I only just got this Figuarts Deadpool recently, but I was seeing reviews 4 to 5 months ago. But there have been some mixed thoughts. Some people prefer the Figuarts, some people prefer the Marvel Legends. So I thought I'd take a real good look at both of them side by side and throw my 2 cents in there, and maybe help someone out who is looking at both of these and deciding which one to get. I don't know how many differences there are between the two, but this is the first Marvel Legends release that came in a 2-pack with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. This is not the later Amazon release of Deadpool. To start with, let's get a look at the Figuarts version. Right off the bat, loving the sculpt. There are some great cloth details in there that I'm a big fan of. I like the shade of red they've gone with. It doesn't look too plasticky to me, and there are some differences in the materials. The shoulder pads are kind of rubbery, and they look rubbery. I mean, they've really nailed the look of what that material is within the context of the movie. And that black continues across the figure. It is definitively different than the red. There it goes. These fall off a ton from this figure. I'll get into that later, but we'll keep them off for now. The knee pads are a little shinier. They look like they've got some wear to them, a little bit of paint, as well as the shin pads. Again, a little bit of scratched paint detail, but honestly, I'm just noticing that. I've been playing this for about a day or two and have not seen it. We have the boots, detail on the bottom of those. I really like the texture. I like the subtle darker reds that kind of accent it throughout. You can see it on the head especially. I'm a big fan of how this looks on the shelf. Looking now at the Marvel Legends, and we do have that cloth detail again, but it's maybe a little softer. It's all throughout the figure. It's present, but I don't think it's quite as deep as the Figuarts version. Still, looks great. We see the shoulders have the visible joint there, but again, they do get the texture down on the shoulders. I think this has a more plasticky look to it. It has that sheen. It doesn't quite achieve the matte look that the Figuarts does. Paint detail there, a little sloppier with the paint detail on the silver, on the buckles, things like that. This one's a lot more marked up as well. The movie costume is really dinged and damaged, and this has all that detail. The Figuarts was a cleaner looking one. I especially like that detail on the shin pads. They're nicked, they're banged up, scratched. Really comes off well in this. But something I'm seeing with the Marvel Legends is the joints are more apparent. See these big cuts there, especially on the shoulder there. With that said, the Figuarts crotch is pretty complex. There's a lot of joints going on there. People will find these really unsightly. Some people, I do think the paint applications are a lot cleaner on the Figuarts, as they should be. It's a pricier figure. But yeah, the Figuarts seems like a cleaner version of the suit. Whether or not that's intentional, I don't know. There's some weathering. We do have some darker paint applications, and they've tried to make this look scratched, but those are applications. The Legends actually has these sculpted scratches, as we saw before. We'll take a look now at accessories. Marvel Legends Deadpool comes with a pair of katanas, a pair of pistols, a unicorn, a knife, and 4 sets of hands. 2 of them have silver on the back of them, 2 of them don't. Not sure why that is, it's not a huge deal. And those hands are fists, splayed out hands, katana and knife gripping hands, and then trigger finger hands. Now the Figuarts Deadpool, on the other hand, comes with a shitload of stuff. You have the knife, 2 different sheaths for the knife. One of them has a permanently stuck knife in there. You have the katana sheaths with removable blades, the actual katanas which do not go in the sheaths. You have 8 different pairs of eyes, as well as a tool to get them out of the head, and then 9 pairs of interchangeable hands. Those include fists, splayed out hands, flat hands, thumbs up hands, pointing hands, heart hands, katana holding hands, and trigger hands. splayed out hands, but controversially, no guns at all. We'll take a look at the katanas, starting with the Bandai SH Figuarts. You can see from the detail on the grip, these are the Deadpool 2 katanas. They have the more Japanese style grip instead of the tactical one from the first movie. We also have detail between the blade and the grip there. A bit of a sculpted Deadpool logo with red paint. And some nice sculpted detail on the blade itself. You can see going down the middle there and then toward the tip. The Marvel Legends look like this. They're about the same size. Some detail on the grip. And maybe some subtle sculpting on the blade itself. No detail here. We do have a number 5, but I think that's a toy thing rather than a movie thing. And I will say, out of the package, the paint on these was pretty horrendous. One of these was almost completely black because the paint had chipped off before I even touched it. I had to repaint these myself. But these are really nice and slim on both of them. But, I mean, of the two, I really have to give it to Bandai. The detail is just superior. I will say, on this one, getting the hand on this was really tough, and it's going to stay on there now. It is stuck on there completely. I'm not getting this thing off. Here are the knives from both releases, both similar sizes. We actually have more sculpted detail on the Marvel Legends one. Again, the paint was coming off on this, and it's happening again. I did have to repaint this, but it obviously rubbed off a little bit. Still, both pretty good, and these both fit in the hands really well. For Legends Deadpool, all of his weapons fit into the holsters, at least the bladed ones. So the katana there, and then the knife goes straight into that holster. The Bandai one, on the other hand, does not. These are kind of faux handles. The katanas do not fit in here, and this is removable from the figure. Same with the knife. You get 2 holsters for the knives. This one does not come out at all. Then you have this empty one that does allow you to sheath the knife in it. I don't know why you would have this, though, when we have the other one. But this pegs directly onto the leg. Now, I want to talk about the guns that come with the Marvel Legends one. Deadpool should come with guns, a variety of guns. The Figuarts has none, and the Marvel Legends has these. These are not actual guns. They're kind of goofy sci-fi guns. And I think it's to kind of get around rules about not having guns with these things. It's obviously pretty ridiculous to not allow these adult collectibles to come with guns. But, yeah, I'm not going to display them with these. They look goofy. I have plenty of other guns from other figures that I can use for both of these guys. Now, one thing is that he comes with sculpted guns in these holsters. But they are glued in. They are technically removable if you can avoid breaking them from the glue. And I did get this one out. So he has this. This fits in his hand very well. You can see there's some glue still on there. And this one I broke trying to get it out. You can see there, that's not coming out at all. So if you work at it, you can get these out, but I don't count as this being a gun that comes with the figure. It's not supposed to be unholstered. Maybe it was at one point, but they've glued it in. The Figuarts, on the other hand, has slots for holsters, but does not have holsters of any kind. It's clear that, again, this was supposed to have guns at one point, but does not now. I'll show you 2 of the hands close up. Here we have the SH Figuarts. You can see the detail goes into the hands. Even the fingers have a lot of good sculpted detail in there. You can see the red and the black. The Legends also has some good detail. Again, it's softer than the Figuarts, but still, it looks good. Just a little sloppier, but only a little. I'll show you some of the eyes on the Figuarts Deadpool. I really like the inclusion of these. It's something that we see on a lot of imports. The Mayfex comic Deadpool had them. I believe the Amazing Yamaguchi also had alternate ones. The Figma did too. You want a Deadpool figure to be really expressive, and these go a long way to do that. I'll also demo the eye remover tool for you. You just kind of get it in there and just crowbar them out like that until they pop out. Alright, articulation rundown time. We'll start with the Marvel Legends. The head looks up about that much. Really not great. Down a pretty decent amount. You do get some side to side. That's important with a Deadpool. The butterfly joint, really, really good on this. Marvel Legends is sometimes a little weird, like the butterfly joints will go, but then they'll kind of snap back a little bit. This stays in place. That goes really far back as well. Shoulder joint goes up that much. And pretty far down. We have a bicep swivel there. Double jointed elbow. There we are. Pinless as well, good. Hinge and swivel wrist. Really good motion on those. We have a classic ab crunch. And despite this being sculpted on, it doesn't really hinder his motion. Even back. Really good motion on this. This will pop up sometimes while you're posing, this situation here. You just got to pull it back down. And no problem with that. Legs go forward that much. Back a really good amount. And to the side, you can see the guns getting in the way. Rotation there. At the thigh, we have double jointed knees. Oh. And that excellent Hasbro ankle rocker. Legs go really far back. And very far forward. This is great. Excellent articulation. This is a Marvel Legend. They don't always move this well. Pretty standout, I think, for a Marvel Legend. Very, very good articulation. So Bandai has a lot to live up to now. Let's see what it can do. Side-to-side motion is pretty good. We're working with two joints, one in the neck, one in the head. You can look up. Not great. Down a pretty good amount. Now these shoulder pads are different than the Legends, so we'll see if they can stack up. They're rubbery, so you can get a good range of motion out of them. And they do go all the way down. You'll see they just kind of spring back into place. You might have to prod them a bit. Butterfly joint. I don't know if that goes as far back as the Legend. It goes very far forward, though, and you can work the shoulder pad around there so it doesn't get in the way. We have double jointed elbows. Go up that much. Pretty good. We have the classic import style wrist, so you can move that all around, position it in different ways, and have the roll of the dice, as it's known, there, or you can rotate it and then have the fist move that way, which is great. Now, these are two separate pieces, the strap here, unlike the Legends, so that's bugs some people, but it doesn't get in the way of articulation at all. He goes forward that much. Back, not great, not as far as the Legends. Side-to-side motion is pretty good. Now, with all these joints in the leg, let's see what those can do. You can go forward this much. To the side about that much. This is getting in the way, but you can kind of fold it under. Back, very much so. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at the ass. So that's a separate joint there. You can see it kind of comes back into place. You have rotation at the thigh. Double jointed knee. Oh, not as high as the Legend, I don't think. Ankle rocker. Not quite as much as the Legend, but this is getting in the way. Still, I think you can finagle it and get what you need. Goes back this much. Forward that much. Again, not quite as much as the Legend. We do have the toe joint. So for articulation, it's a bit of a toss-up. They do different things better than the other one. The Legend has great ab crunch, back and forth, but no pivot of the torso. You know, the Figuarts doesn't go as far forward, but you do get good motion here. I think you get some more head motion here than you do with the Legends 2. And it's a Deadpool. I mean, it's a little more expressive in that way. But this does pretty much everything you'd want as well. I mean, really good motion all around. So it's a toss-up. And of course, the height comparison. From my calculations, the Figuarts stands just under 6 inches tall, with the Legends about 6.1 inches. So if we're talking about 1/12 scale and Ryan Reynolds' height, I believe he stands 6'2", making the Legends closer to his height. Legends generally run a bit big, but this seems to be a better size. Figuarts are generally smaller than Legends. I think they're closer than most Figuarts compared to Legends, but I don't think the Figuarts' smaller height is a huge deal. He's fudgeable. I think you can put him in other 6-inch displays, put him with your Legends and your Mafex, and I think he'll be fine. With that said, let's do some comparisons with other lines and other figures. We have the Medicom Mafex Far From Home Spider-Man. He looks great with both of these. I think it's a good height differential. I'm glad he's shorter than both of them, and he's a ton of fun to pose with either of these Deadpools. Keeping with the black and red motif, here we have the Mezco and Netflix Daredevil next to the two. And I didn't plan the black and red thing to this extent. This was just the closest Figuarts figure I had. But we have the Figuarts Shang-Chi, who comes in a little shorter than Deadpool. And another recent one, it's the Mafex Mark 85 Iron Man.
I love you.
So, boy. I think both of these have a lot going for them. They're both standout figures for both lines. With the SH Figuarts release, you get all these hands, different interchangeable eyes. You can really get creative with it, and I did have a lot of fun photographing this with different figures from different lines. But with that, you have to keep track of these eye pieces. You don't want to drop them in the carpet because they'll get lost. You have all these hands to look after, the fake katana handles that go in the sheaths, the knife, and the two different holsters and stuff. It's a little fiddly, and I can see a lot of people just not being bothered with switching out the eyes all the time and the hands and stuff. Getting out your little baggie and fishing through a ton of different hands. With the Legends, I think there's a case for less is more. He does have a good mix of hands. Some gestural splayed out ones, the fists, the holding hands. His swords and the knife just fit on him, you don't have to keep them separate. He only has the one head and no other interchangeable eyes, but I don't think everyone would feel the need to even have those. He's simple, you just pick him up, have some fun with him, put him down. There's less work that goes into posing the Legends one, and it is great, the articulation is amazing. He's a very, very good Marvel Legends figure. For me personally, I think I have to give it to the Figuarts. And I've been pretty down on Bandai lately. Some of their releases have been massively disappointing. Their Count Dooku was laughable. Their Keaton Batman was a big disappointment. I haven't liked their Mandalorians with the tiny heads and the over-engineered guns. So I was surprised I liked this Deadpool as much as I did, especially having had the Marvel Legends for like 2 years now. But the Figuarts is just so much fun to get creative with the hands and stuff, posing them with different figures from different lines. While I do really like both of these, I think the Figuarts is going to be my Deadpool. But I think that's a bit of a hot take. Other reviews I've seen have preferred the Legends. Let me know what you think. Do you have both? Do you have the Legends and skip the Figuarts because you're happy with it? And let me know what guns you use for them. There is that Takara Tony accessory pack that people have been talking about. It has parts for both of these, including holsters for the Figuarts and guns and a shield, all kinds of crazy shit. I don't know if I'll be getting that. But yeah, I'm just glad we have two really good choices for Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. If you like the comparison, check out some of my other ones. And if you like the content in general, maybe give me a subscribe.